Do you ever struggle with growing cool season crops or even wonder how to get started? Veg like broccoli, beets, and leafy greens are a great addition to any fall or spring plate. But they can also easily fall prey to environmental influences like temperature and pests. Let's talk about some ways you can protect your cool weather crops. When we talk about cool weather crops, we have a whole list of great veg to choose from. Cool weather crops are vegetables that prefer moderate, cooler temperatures for growth and can often tolerate light frosts, which can even improve their flavor. They're fast growing and they're well known for being great for succession planting, which means that every week or two you can sow new seeds throughout the growing season for a continual harvest. Some of these crops are perfect for starting indoors, which is a nice way to keep gardening, even when the elements outside don't allow for it. Veg like broccoli, cabbage, and chard are staples in my indoor growing space. They transplant really well, and they benefit from some early protection while they establish their roots. I find that some other veg, like spinach and peas, are so fast growing that starting them indoors really isn't necessary. And plants like radishes, carrots, and beets, all root vegetables, do much better being directly sown, so you're not disturbing their roots when you transplant. A couple things to watch out for when growing cool season plants is temperature and pests. Sun exposure is good for these plants. Most of them need at least 6 hours of sunlight a day in order to truly thrive. But of course, with the sun can also come heat. So if you have an early warm snap in the spring or a late one in the fall, that can spell disaster for your cool season harvest. When cool season crops get stressed, their internal system tells them it's time to flower and set seed in order to enable future generations. This is called bolting, and when it happens to your cool season crops, the things that you want to eat, the leaves, the stems, or the roots, they can become bitter and woody. Now you can still eat the flowers and seed pods from some of your cool season crops, but let's be honest, you're growing spinach to eat the leaves, not the flowers. Pests can also be a huge issue for cool weather crops. Things like cabbage worms and flea beetles can completely skeletonize a plant in a very short amount of time. And the rabbits we have in our garden are cute, but much less cute after they've stolen my lettuce and peas. And this is why I like to start a lot of my cool season crops indoors. I've come outside too many times to find that my newly sprouted seedlings have been eaten to the ground. So what sorts of things can we do to protect our cool season plants from pests? Well, first, you can try to create a barrier around your bed in order to keep the critters out. Chicken wire or other fencing can be a deterrent, but it can also be bypassed fairly easily by climbing or digging pests. To keep rabbits from eating my plants, I actually like to grow my tender cool season crops in a bed that's a little bit taller, which can be a very effective way to keep them out. That's why I'm super excited that my friends at Vego Garden sent me this raised bed kit just in time for me to get my broccoli and Swiss chard transplanted. To check out all the great stuff Vego Garden has to offer, click the link in either the description or pinned comment. And if you decide to get anything for your garden, add the discount code WeGrewThis10 off for $10 off your total order at checkout. Huge thanks to Vego Garden for supporting the channel. The modular raised bed kits from Vego Garden are amazing. They're designed to be customizable for whatever your garden needs. The kit I'm building today is designed to accommodate 4 different configurations, and they have some kits that can make up to 10 different styles and shapes of raised bed. They're super cool. The configuration I chose for this bed is 3.5 feet by 3.5 feet, which will look perfect in my garden and will also fit over 12 square feet of growing space. And at 17 inches tall, this bed provides ample room for my plant's roots to grow big and strong, and there's no way any bunnies are getting in. The coated corrosion-resistant metal, non-toxic USDA certified paint, and food-safe materials mean this bed will be a fixture in my garden for decades. And assembly is so quick and easy. In 30 minutes time, I'm ready to get planting. I'll space my broccoli and Swiss chard seedlings between 12 and 18 inches apart from one another, which is plenty of room. These make great companion plants because they have different root depths, which means that they're not going to be constantly competing for nutrients in the soil. They also have different growth habits. Where broccoli grows taller, chard spreads wider, and this helps maximize the use of space in the bed. Now we could be done here. The bed has been built and filled and the crops have been transplanted. But remember, we need to consider some environmental factors and how to protect our plants. In addition to the 4-in-1 modular raised bed kit, Vego Garden also sent me their incredible cover system. The Vego Garden cover system provides the ultimate protection to your garden from not only pesky bugs, but also the scorching midday sun. The easy-to-install Vego Garden cover system attaches perfectly to my new Vego Garden modular raised bed. It's built with corrosion, UV, and tear-resistant materials, so you can be confident it'll be keeping your plants safe for a long time. And with a 35% shade rating, it also ensures your tender fall crops are protected from the hot summer sun. And this is great because your cool season crops will benefit from the sun protection, and they also are less likely to bolt due to heat stress. Now, when it comes to pests, covering your crops will work wonders. Just be sure to examine your seedlings before transplanting to make sure you remove any bugs trying to hitch a ride. The last thing you need is to put effort toward keeping pests out and then accidentally bring them into the bed when you're transplanting. All right, it's been 2 weeks since I got my broccoli and Swiss chard transplanted into their brand new bed. Let's check it out and see how they're doing. Look at this. This is fantastic. The Swiss chard looks amazing. It's filling out nicely, and the leaves have been completely untouched by pests. Remember how they looked when they were transplanted? These have at least tripled in size, and it's only been 2 weeks. And they look great, and I could start harvesting here or there already if I wanted to. Swiss chard works great as a cut-and-come-again crop. Just cut the outside leaves about 1 inch from the soil surface, but make sure not to cut the central bud or inner leaves so they can keep growing. You can do this weekly as the outer leaves get large enough, and the more you do it, the more energy your plants will dedicate to growing more leaves, meaning a larger harvest for you. All right, remember when I said you need to make sure to remove all signs of pests from your plants before you move your crops under cover? Well, I missed some cabbage worms on my broccoli. In fact, I missed a lot, and I kind of went into crisis mode once I found the first one munching on my broccoli leaves. For the first week after transplanting, I came outside 3 times a day to check on the plants, and each time I found at least one cabbage worm across the various plants. It certainly wasn't hard to tell that they were there, but because they're so well camouflaged, it was pretty hard to actually track them down sometimes. But eventually, I stopped finding them, and after that, the plants also stopped showing any signs of pests. And though some of the outer leaves of my broccoli plants are pretty well chewed up, the younger leaves are looking great. Next time, I'll heed my own advice. In fact, now that I'm using a cover system for these cool season crops, I'll be able to harden them off under the protection of this cover system. So that means they'll go straight from inside to a protected garden bed, which means cabbage moths will never have the chance to lay eggs on them. But I didn't want to pretend like everything was perfect with my plants. I did get some pest activity, but it was my fault. The cover is doing its job perfectly, and I haven't had any pest activity since I removed the little guys that I accidentally brought in with the plants. And now it's just a matter of time before my broccoli starts producing florets. I can already see the main heads starting to form and little side shoots growing as well. Cool season crops are a great addition to any home garden. They're a way to help you get the growing season started early, and also a perfect way to end the growing season with a bang. Be sure to protect these crops by keeping them out of reach of critters and protecting them from too much heat and sun. Treat them right and you'll be harvesting in no time. Happy growing.